All right, shalom, everybody. Welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Special session. We appreciate you for being on. Alrighty. Grateful to everybody on. We're gonna do this real quick. Been a long couple of days and long evening, and long travel. A lot of traveling, but wanted to make sure that we got back to you guys today. Hello, everybody. How you doing? So, special session on. We do this every fourth Sunday. My wife, or every fourth Sunday, or every last Sunday of each month. We're thankful to have you guys on. We have the Honorable Maya on with us again. She's been on with us a lot this month. Every Thursday, every Saturday, and she's been teaching on Friday. So we're thankful and grateful that she helped us kick this month off right, including with a special session. So even though we're busy, and even though she's busy, and we both have a lot of things to do, we wanted to at least stay on target with this and start off correctly. So we're thankful and grateful to everybody. Shalom, how you doing? May the words of our mouths and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in Yahweh's sight. He is our strength and our redeemer, and it's in his name, which is his authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, and protect today's message. Aman. Welcome, everybody. Shalom. Technically, it was Shabbat Shalom again, but it's now since past that in our calendar, not on the Gregorian calendar. We actually had the Saturday Shabbat, which we just kind of use as reference, and then we had our Shabbat, which actually was today. But now we're into the next day of the year, so we're thankful and grateful to have you on, and to have the Honorable Maya once again. This is so if you don't include the classes, this is the ninth time she's been on with us. I guess if you include classes, this is like the 12th or 13th time. Oh, wow. So we're thankful and grateful for her spending time again. And she'll be behind the scenes as always, I guess. But of course, she'll pop up here and there as she's led. And we thank you guys for being on and being supportive. Once again, we welcome you guys, and we'll just do this. We won't be on that long. We've been busy, but we want to make sure we at least get a great half an hour in there. So probably go no longer than about 8:35. I know we're a couple minutes late getting on, but thank you all for being on. So shalom to everybody. Peace be upon everybody. And we want to get into this dynamic word today. Really, we're going to kind of look at this a different way as what we did last time. So once again, our theme is going to be that our fight is different. Right, our theme is going to be that our fight is different, and once again, we give all praise and honor to the Most High Yahweh Elohim. We thank Him for the Honorable Maya and Bloom and Flourish, who is known as Bloom and Flourish, BLOOM and FLOURISH. You can check her on TikTok, YouTube, website, and Pinterest. She's a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. And still, for the next couple of days, the tincture of the month is still anxiety release. So we're thankful and grateful, and we hope you guys continue to support. So thank you for being on. Hello to everybody. How you doing? Jojo, everybody on YouTube. We appreciate you. Everybody tuning in from a different platform. We appreciate you. How you doing? It's Toria or Tori. NX Beauty. I forget the name. Forgive me. Sister Helen, Sister Lori, Sister Deja, Sister Helen. I think I said your name twice. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that. How you doing? Thank you. It's Bachon, right? Or Bachon. I think you told me last time. I might be saying it wrong again. Taryn. Shane Israel. Minister Tamara. Brother Keith. Everybody, Sister Deborah Tan. Drea, Miss Pierce, Crimit _81. Till I die. Everybody, if I missed you, charge it to my head and not to my heart. How you doing, Black Diamond? And thanks for being part of the community. Is it Hope 0411 Angel? Oh, I have this on the wrong TikTok, don't I? I just realized this is on Kofi _43. That's okay. We'll keep it rolling. We'll keep it moving. I apologize. Hopefully, people who have usually everybody's on both. So, hi, Henry. Hello, Henry. So yeah. So today we want to talk about our fights are different, and really this kind of came from some stuff we were listening to today in our travels, and kind of a refocus on some things that we usually talk about, but just look at a different perspective. How when we talk about our diaspora, and how you doing, Billy Ray, our diaspora versus others who might be dealing with stuff in the diaspora and their diaspora rather, we have a different fight. Our fight is more so about knowledge. Including even nowadays, but it always was. We never really were people that were worried about having as much armor on and this and that or whatever. It was never something that's an overall theme for us. There can be exceptions, of course, but for the most part, it wasn't. However, when we fight against others, their fight is different. Their fight is about relevance, and relevance by any means necessary. And our fight should become about knowledge by any means necessary, but their fight is about relevance, right? And so when we're dealing with these different things, thanks for the love. When we're dealing with these different things that are coming on, we're talking about relevance a lot, and we don't think about it. Somebody is so desperate to be relevant that they will erase somebody else just to say that nobody else has any relevancy. That shows the people that are in their infancy as far as thought still overall. um to make somebody else irrelevant. There's a saying, I've said it a few times. I always forget the sister I got it from, but basically if you chop somebody's legs off at the knee so you can be taller, you're not taller than them, right? You just hurt them. You just cut them down. And there's people out there that are trying to be relevant by cutting us down. And so that's kind of our foundation for the night. Is there anything kind of like that's on your heart to be able to share regarding that? I know there's a bunch of ways, right?
Well, yeah, there's just so much, and it's like so little time, but it's just amazing to me, to know that there's something special about you. You just don't know what it is. You don't know why you're so hated all the time. You don't know why um, you feel the way you do. You don't know why things are the way they are. And then you start learning more and more about history, which people, relegate to some like unimportant place. They put it off to the side, like, oh, it's not important. Oh, it doesn't have any relevance in my life today. Oh, it's not going to help me be any richer or any um, pay any bills or anything like that. But really, history is like the basis for our legal system. Like, if we don't have history, a lot of people who study law, they study history as well, because precedence is a big part of the law. Knowing what came before is a huge part of knowing how you got to the where you are today, and what you're allowed to do and today to maneuver and to play the game. It's just like, I don't want to say, well, like Monopoly. Like, if you don't know the rules, you're gonna lose every time, and it doesn't matter how much passion or whatever you have. If you don't know the rules, you lose. And just learning more about history and piecing things together, you get so many aha moments, and you're like, oh my goodness. It gets to a point where you're just like, are you serious? Can you please be serious now? This came from this. Like, I feel ignorant because I didn't realize that the Phoenician alphabet was um, taken by a Phoenician and made the Greek language. I thought the alphabet was just, somehow, skipped and became our alphabet. The ancient Hebrew language that we are studying now, that we're relearning, that we're understanding our culture with, actually is what the Greeks made. It wasn't even the Greeks, it was a Phoenician that used the Phoenician alphabet as the basis for the Greek lettering, the Greek characters. And I didn't know that. And I don't know how, the cognitive dissonance in my head, how I skipped from, ancient Phoenician place, to our Greco-Roman society that we have today. Like, everything that we do is based on Greeks and Romans. And if you don't know that, then you're going to feel kind of lost, and you're not going to understand the way things work.
And thank you for the love, and shalom to everybody who's coming on. And that's something that we have to realize and recognize and comprehend. We have to realize very clearly. We have to realize very soon, if you haven't already, that we talk about this all the time. You're in a Greco-Roman society. So what is uplifted in Greco-Roman society? Greco-Roman society would be control, right? Control over women. People all the time, they'd be like, oh yeah, blah blah. And look, I get it. Like, people do this weird thing where it's like it wasn't until 18 or 1960s that men could have this, or men could have that, or women could have this, or women could have that. And I get it. Like in New
Thanks
York,
for the love.
no.
You get it in New York.
Yes, yeah, and in New York. Well, so like in New York, women have some things that were given, and this and that, and in Tennessee maybe they had this, and in Virginia maybe a little bit, even though Virginia really ain't get much of anything. But if you look at it, all these things that we're trying to qualify to be like, well, women had, well, women, even if you got to fight, well, women did have this, and women, in Kemet, matter of fact, in a lot of not all, but in a lot of places in Kemet, the bloodline, they didn't care if you went by the woman or the man. Matter of fact, a lot of times, some places, most of the time, would have been the women that determined the bloodline, because once again, in our societies, men and women are the same. Right. So who cares really at the end of the day? Right. Like you see some of that holdover in certain places where they don't care about last names. Go to, a lot of African nations. I know you think that like we had this weird fascination with the West. We go to a lot of African nations and start looking at last names. They don't care who last name. Matter of fact, a lot of us over there, maybe you're a Kwame, maybe you're a Kofi, maybe you're a Yao, maybe you're a Ama, maybe you're many different names that are over there. But once you get to a certain age, you can actually start picking and choosing. You could change your name if you feel like, if it's not something that your parents did that you feel like is something that you want to live up to, or you don't feel like that's your calling, or you feel like they named you in a wrong spirit or anything like that. So but in this society, it's about controlling you. So even the names are more so like, I'm gonna just name you this because this is what I want you to become, or I'm gonna just name you this because I like this, or not thinking about purpose. That we're having a tug of war within the Americas, or within the West, or within the diasporas, or even within our own diaspora, because we have different prisms. Even like, my wife could describe to you how, if you're going to learn the scientific names or the genus of plants, or anything for that matter, even races, you've got to know the Latin name. Why? Because Greeks and Romans love Latin. So you're sitting up here every day trying to struggle, and you're trying to figure out, why is it so difficult for me to get all these, there's these body parts and these plants and stuff in my head? Like, I know what that is. Why can't we just, like, we don't even call it that? Why can't we just call it what we call it? And it's like, oh no, you have to call it this, because the people that are saying that they have control, they're the ones determining what it is that we're supposed to call things.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a really great point. We're coming, as Dr. Laila Africa says, we're not out of our minds, we're out of their minds. Like, we're just kind of out of it. And anybody who is doing well in a system that wasn't meant for you is kind of just like a oddity, or like a rare condition where you're able to kind of parse parse the different sides of you. Like, you can code switch really easily. You can live in a culture that's not your culture, understand a mindset that's not your mindset, and then adopt it in such a seamless way to where you can live comfortably in something that doesn't really add up for you.
Like, a lot of us don't, like, think about this. We always talk about this has been misappropriated, that's been misappropriated, this has been appropriated, culturally appropriated. What about this? What about, have you ever thought about the fact that you've been appropriated?
I don't like that.
But it's true though, right? Like think about it. Like okay. I remember in school going around stuff like that. Like, people thought it was okay to tell me not to do this, not to do that, or whatever, but they're going to do the same thing that I just did. And I'm the nerd. I'm the one that's trash. I'm the one that's dumb. I'm stupid. I'm slow. I'm not a trendsetter, whatever, right? But then I remember one of the jobs that I had, the last job that I had. My Mike can attest to this. I was kind of irritated. It was just time for me to stop having a 9 to 5, like, and she supported me in that. But as I was leaving on the last couple of weeks, you put your 2-week notice in, and all of a sudden I started hearing things like, oh, we hope you didn't say this out loud and people heard you say blah, 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 blah on your way out. Cause you were, what did they say? You were, not a trendsetter. What do they call it when you are on social media? You're
a creator?
Influencer. Yeah. They were like, you're an influencer. I was like, yeah, I know that, but I've been on the job like all this time. See, I didn't even think about this till it was a woman that owned the company I was working for. And it was like, I figured that I was talking to stuff. Matter of fact, we had people of different age ranges. So I was having teenagers ask me about the Bible and stuff, and doing Bible study. We're doing all the stuff that we're doing. And it was interesting, but it was like, it's like the tone changed. They got upset when I started talking about leaving, because in their mind, then all of a sudden it was, well, wait, maybe we can pay you more. Even though it wouldn't have been anything really anyway. It's not worth it, right? But maybe we'll pay you more now. Maybe we'll do this. And it was like, but on my way out, now all of a sudden you're an influencer. And I thought about it, and I was like, the whole time I was here, not one time did you say I was an influencer, which
You gotta
means
pay
that,
influencers more.
yeah, well, not just, well, that true that, right? But also, not one time did you say it to me, which means that either you're lying to me, which I don't even believe, but now culture had to look in your mindset and say, well, then you knew I was an influencer the whole time. And yet the whole time you wouldn't allow me to do certain things, but then you found it was okay to try and appropriate it to use for this and that or whatever. And prayerfully they used some of the stuff that I was doing while I've been gone. Right. I hope that they did. But I'm just saying, I realized then, like, I was appropriated. Like, they're saying that we're not this, that, or whatever, but they're sure enough going to be able
Man,
to use what we're
as a
going
black
to.
woman, as a Hebrew woman, as a
Oh,
Negro,
most of
I totally understand
most of
being told you're this and you're that and you're not good enough and why are you shaped like that? Why you got a bubble butt? Why what's that? Like, I've heard, her lips are too big, all this kind of stuff. And growing up in like the
And you were
90s,
told not to call yourself black.
oh gosh, being black was like a scarlet letter. You didn't want to be known as black. If you could get any type of play as anything other than black, then of course you'd adopt that. I've had people, even not, even like Asian people, admit to me that yeah, I would want to be white, and it's just um a logical thing. Like, you're being treated unfairly. You're being told that what you have is subpar, is ugly. You should nothing fits you. Like, you want to wear jeans, but of course they don't fit you right. Like, they're either too tight on your legs or too loose in your waist. Something's not right. um Makeup's not made for you. Your hair is not good enough. You need to get a relaxer. You need to straighten your hair. You need to look a certain way. You need to walk a certain way. You need to talk a certain way, or else you're labeled as something undesirable. You're labeled as ghetto. You're labeled as stupid. Like, one of the biggest compliments was like, "You speak so proper," or or like, "You talk like you're white." Like that, was something that was upheld as like, oh, this is the standard. Like, if I can code switch well enough, if I can be something else. And then, like, to feel disgust in the 2000s, when it's like, everything they told you you shouldn't want to have. You shouldn't be wearing the hoop earrings because that's ghetto. You shouldn't wear your hair like that. Why do you have that colorful hair? Why do you have this? Why do you have that? And all of a sudden, everything that you have always been is in style for somebody else, just not you. Don't you dare walk around with your body shaped like that. Don't you dare walk around with your lips like that. Don't wear your hair that way. Like, when box braids, or excuse me, boxer, when cornrows became boxer braids. Like, I remember not wanting to wear my hair in cornrows because I thought it looked too black. Not wearing like braids because I thought, oh, that's too black. No, I want my hair straight. I want to look a certain way. I don't. And the sad part about it was, when I got teased and bullied in school, in like middle school, it was the black people telling me that my hair was nappy. And I believe I have nice hair. I have wavy curly hair, and instead of caring to have my hair, I destroyed my hair. I literally destroyed my hair. Like, hair was coming out in clumps in my hand in order for me to do a relaxer. And I was pressing my mother so much to give me a relaxer. She didn't want to do it. And little did I know that, the system is rigged, and there's this thing called planned obsolescence, where they know that something's going to break down if you do this, and this to it. They know that these certain chemicals will cause, infertility, fibroid cysts, and ovarian cysts and different things like that. They know that it will cause ovarian cancer and different things, but they're going to put that in there, and then you're going to be pressed by your own community to put it on your head. And they know that 70 to 80% of people who have ever been exposed to those chemicals are going to have cancer or some type of weird disorder, like the cyst and things like that. So um, the system's rigged against you, and sometimes we play into it. And like Pastor said, it's this, the knowledge, coming into the knowledge, and really owning it and understanding is the only way.
Yeah.
Wait, here's something.
Yeah, so but it's the thing that's there, like and these are the things that once again are theirs, and that's what we're talking about tonight. Our fights are different, and I don't think that people comprehend it. They don't get it. So we had this weird thing where it's like people are trying to say, oh well, you're trying to make it about this, you're trying to make it about race. No, like you have to recognize for our diaspora, race, race from evolution to gender to style to revolution to CRT now to all these different things. Race is something that's involved heavily in everything. And it wasn't us that had it where we had to start thinking about race because we weren't the ones that tried to use it as a weapon. We never weaponized just because you were of a certain color. Now I won't act like, okay, we never is strong, but there's exceptions to every rule, but I'm just saying you're not going to find that as part of our diaspora anywhere, that was a normalcy, right? If somebody didn't like somebody because you were a different tribe, hey, we can still say that's wrong, but it's not the same as far as your race determines the fact that you're automatically going to be bad, right? Like race used to just mean competition, just used to mean on your mark, get set, go. On your marks, sorry, get set, go, right? But now it's become what? It's become black, white, right? And really that's kind of for the most part it. Like the lighter you are, the right, like we didn't determine that somebody had fair skin. Like how does skin make you fair? Like we didn't do that, but somebody would say, are you trying to say that I'm better than you or you're better than me because you have more melanin? No, what I'm trying to say is for the first time, we have a voice to be able to say melanin actually allows more things as far as like the more melanin that flows, the more strength you have, the more you can be out in the sun, the more you can see, the more like the angle of seeing is different. Your even the viscosity of your earwax, which by the way was researched by you, not by me, right? Thank you for the love. Like it was researched by you, so you're the ones, sorry, who made it a point to say we want to know everything there is about this, and we want to determine what's separating.
The more melanin you have, the more of a spiritual connection you have. The melanin controls our circadian rhythm. So the more in touch with the rhythm of nature you are, the more melanin you have. And melanin is not determined by the color of your skin.
Right.
It's determined by the content of melanin within your cells.
Right, because melanin is always measured from the inside out, just like everything should technically be measured from the inside
it's like
out.
Crazy how they made everything about skin color. Right. Like I remember having science class in high school where they had this like dominant versus recessive trait taste test thing, and there was a little strip. It had some type of chemical on it that if you had dominant genes, it would taste bitter to you. But if you had recessive genes, you wouldn't be able to taste it. It would taste like nothing. And like, everyone who was more, known to be melanated, it was like, oh, this is disgusting. It's bitter. Well, it's because melanin gives you higher taste. Your taste buds have more receptors on them, so you taste things more intensely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so these are things that we don't recognize, we don't think about, we don't operate in. But it's like, and now think about it. We had people that legit try to switch everything, to the other side. So if somebody switched it and we knew, see, this is the thing too, as we get ready to take our leave because our time's almost up. But if we know that these people knew what was going on and still told us this stuff, like we talk about this with Yahweh, like we'll be like, why do people know the name of Yahweh, Yahshua, Ruach HaKodesh, but they never say it, right? And then we start saying, well, maybe we should look at these people differently. Well, if these people knew that melanin was powerful, like well, I'm gonna say the other diaspora. There's many diasporas, but let's just say the other side of the tug of war right now. If you had people if you are on that other side of diaspora, let me say it like this: we're not here today to tell you that you're evil or we have a heaven and hell to put anybody in. However, if you know that some of the people that represent your people as a whole, when they try to do that, if you know that they're out here lying to you and saying things to you such as, it doesn't matter if you're black or white, but they have melanin conferences and don't allow black people to go to the melanin conferences for the first few decades, to the point to where we have to start our own. you have to ask yourself, how is it that the non-melanated people are not allowed to go to the melanated conference, but skin color doesn't matter? You have to ask yourself, if the Tuskegee experiments happened in Alabama, where they're shooting you with syphilis, and didn't do it to anybody else, but but what they consider to be the more melanated people, you have to ask yourself, if they had a conversation in the same state to where they started having black families that couldn't read or write, and they started having them sign with an X, not knowing what they signed up for, and then as soon as their daughters hit puberty, they took them into hospitals and made sure they could never have babies again, right? You got to ask yourself, if you're somebody who's fighting to say why racism isn't real, you have to ask yourself why you're okay with ignoring not just the signs, but ignoring not just breadcrumbs, even ignoring a way of life.
Mm.
This is a way of life for me. This is a religion for some people.
Mm.
I know we don't use the term that often, white supremacy, because I know people are saying we're not trying to say somebody's supreme because they're white. I'm just trying to tell you there is a supremacist mindset, and you still carry it around. If you reach in your wallet right now and you pull out a $1 bill, a $2 bill, a $5 bill, a 10, a 20, a 50, 100, guess who's on there? A white slave owner. If you're against it, why is it such in your society, and why will you not speak up against it?
It's hard for me to say it's a supremacist mindset. To me, it's kind of like it's a lesser mindset, because when somebody feels like they're supreme, there's no need to push down or press. It's like you have a big dog and a little dog. The little dog knows that it's little, knows that it's at a disadvantage, and it barks, barks, barks. It's really aggressive. It does all these things to get the big dog's attention, and it's usually the one who's the aggressor. The big dog knows that I have an advantage. There's no point in me fighting with you. There's no point in me really even giving you much play or pay attention to you. And to me, the big dog who doesn't have to engage is superior to something that is aggressive and always trying to be kind of the aggressor and get the attention and be relevant.
Well, I get what you're saying. A lot of people do that. I don't mind going either way. I understand. Like, I get the context of like it being inferiority complex or something like that. I also look at it this way, because once again, that's what I said, it's a tug of war. So you have two different people who are fighting, right? Our fights are different. For the person who's trying to be relevant, their fight is to be supreme. So in their mind, they're fighting as a supremacist. For the person who's seeking knowledge, their goal is to make sure that knowledge is supreme. KRS-One, right? Knowledge reigns supreme over everyone, right? Overall, right? So like for us, my mindset, yeah, right. And then you put your Yahweh in there. He needs to be supreme. So I'm not even trying to be supreme. But you get somebody else who's like, I need to make sure that my people are supreme no matter what. So I get it. Like, so that's why culture always supersedes, to me, in my mind, it always supersedes everything. Well, not everything, not Yahweh, but hopefully get the context. Culture is always extremely important, because the supremacist in one culture is saying, hey, I've got to make sure that I beat somebody else up. That's what Greco-Roman culture does. That's what Roman antics are. Being romantic is, I got to beat you up, right? Even romance, as far as like, hey, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be better than you at romance. I'm going to be better at taking you out. I'm going to make sure that we go on, we got to jump out of planes and do stuff like that. Like, I'm going to make sure nobody's going to be better. Or is this person, forgive my language, but even like, is this person bigger than me? Like, I mean, it's everything is about beating somebody into submission, right? But then on the other side, for us, knowledge reigns supreme. So I look at you as a supremacist in field. Well, I know you're not. I don't know. Would you call yourself a botanist? Yeah. So I would say, like, as a botanist, or as a biologist, or as a herbalist, like, I'd say, okay, that you seeking more knowledge makes you a supremacist, so to speak. But that's the different culture. Somebody else would say, well, you're not supreme because you don't talk or think or act or make sure you do everything like me, or you don't look like me. In their culture, yeah, I get it. Like, I don't agree with it, but I know when we're talking about white supremacy in your culture, you think white supremacy is you think white is real. You think that white's an actual color. So you've already messed up, right? But in our culture, I get what you're saying. Yeah, like, if you're going to be the big dog, why are you concerned about somebody who has to bark and bark and bark? I deal with that even with walking Bailey. Sometimes I'll be walking, and all of a sudden, like, little dog pops up or whatever. And I legit, I don't even like where, I just walk towards the dog. And when I walk towards the dog runs behind the owner, like, because it's like, if you just confront most of these people who are more supreme than you, they usually have to hide behind, their master. That's why they hide behind Trump. That's why they hide behind Biden. So.
Great point. Someone had a question about the dominant recessive test. There's these strips. I'm not sure what the chemical is on them, but if you look up dominant genes versus recessive gene test or test strips, you should be able to find what the chemical is on them.
Amen. But I don't. Like I said, it's been a long weekend for us. In more ways than one, and we just wanted to make sure we were obedient. So I don't have anything else. And do you have anything else that you like? I mean, this is the last. Well, it's not the last time, but last time on the live sessions, just for a little bit for her. So I don't know if you want to say anything or anything. You've been on quite a bit with this. Everybody's gonna be missing you and all that stuff, and asking me where you're at and all that stuff. And she always said, I keep telling you, I don't know. She'll tell me all the time and whatever. And then I'll be like, do you see these texts that these people be sending me and sending you all the love and all
they
this
just
stuff?
like to flatter you.
That's what she says. And then everybody says more stuff about her than they say about me.
Please.
So.
Anyhow.
I'm not trying to fight about it. I don't know why. See, people who think that some people who think they're supreme in certain areas, they don't like to be supreme and taking compliments. But I thank you guys for sending love to her, reaching out to her, doing stuff last minute when she asked you to do it because of the love you have for her and stuff like that. I'm just saying, it's okay to accept. You be telling me all the time, I can't accept this, I can't accept that. I'm trying to be what you told me to be, accept the stuff. So people have mad love for your respect. So, but we appreciate you. Thank you so much for being on. We honor you guys. And we look forward to talking to you guys very soon. So we got early rising Bible study session tomorrow. We'll be on live again at 8 a.m. Well, I guess I'll be on live at 8 a.m. Eastern New York time tomorrow. Unless, I'll be on 8 a.m. Eastern New York time tomorrow. So we thank you guys. We appreciate you. Thank you for everybody who came out for the meetup or whatever. I'm just waiting for some stuff to figure out which one I can send out, and then we'll be able to send some pictures out to you guys. And thank you for your time. Those who we didn't get a chance to meet up, next time we're in Georgia, we'll figure it out to make it up for you guys. For you guys who aren't in the Atlanta area, I know that Georgia is big, just like many states are. It's not just as simple as everybody's in the same spot. But we look forward to talking to you guys. Thank you again. I'm sorry.
Oh yes, Truth Reigns Blank. This is recorded on YouTube, so you can just look up special sessions. Our struggle is different. Our fight is different.
Our fight is different. Fight is different. It's the last one on there, Sister Arena. If it's Truth Reigns, it's probably Sister Arena. So thank you for being on. We appreciate you. And I'm gonna go ahead and get some rest. So thank you for being on. As always, it's been as always, it's been the Honorable Maya. You can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish, not A-N-D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. Tincture of the month is still anxiety release. Wow. And we're looking forward to, and there's many different tinctures, which are just medicines or natural medicines that she forages for by hand and creates by hand. And she basically it's concentrated to be able to make sure that you get as much extracted out of the roots, the herb, etc., that you can. So thank you for being on. We look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow, and prayerfully you've gotten something. Thank you for those who gave love in different ways today. And as always, Yassadel, please remember that you are loved, you are necessary, you're majestic, you're fearfully and wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Shalom, family. Belated Shabbat Shalom. And we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Thank you.